Hello, Libra, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of July 6th through the 12th, and during that time, we'll have a waxing gibbous moon, and that's a really good time for making adjustments, for being flexible, looking around at things you've been working on, what's working, what's not working, make those adjustments so that you can then move forward. We will also have the full moon energy that comes in on the 10th through kind of into the 11th. I think it's late afternoon on the 10th that the moon is actually at its fullest point. So first get out and watch that in the evening if you can. It should be a beautiful moonrise, I believe, up over the horizon. So anyway, so the moon energy that's heightened emotions. You can feel a little anxious or overwhelmed. If you're like me, I can't sleep when the moon is full. I really can't. I wake up at night, and even with the curtains closed, it's like, oh, there it is. I just sleep less. But some people get snappy or irritable. I don't really do that. I just get really full of energy. But it is a good time for all of us to remember to practice patience and calm. We get this reminder once a month. That if no matter what things happen to you, that you feel on the full moon, you get to think about how to be patient and how to be very calm no matter how it's affecting you. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter this week, Libra. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading: meditate and contemplate. All right, let's see what is on the mind of the Libra collective this week. I will say that since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit that subscribe button right down there. And if you like the reading, if you hit the like button, that's actually very helpful as well. And that helps my channel, and it's super easy for you to do. It's just the click of a button. So I will give you just a moment to do that right now. Thank you so much. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you for coming back and helping me to build a community here. I'm noticing, that I see people that are watching their reading every week, and it makes me really happy. It's why I'm here. So I really do love that and appreciate you coming back over and over. So thank you so much. All right. Your weekly reminder this week from me would be that you notice the world around you this week when it comes to synchronicities. And this could be, animals, maybe repeating numbers, or a conversation that you might overhear. It could be in a song. It could be that you have a situation going on in your life and you're, driving and flipping through that radio dial, as I often do. If you still do that, some people listen to Spotify, whatever. Whatever, if even on YouTube, however you're listening to music, that a song comes on that maybe you didn't request or put in, and it just happens, and it's a song that does relate to your life in a way that just happened to get in front of you. So pay attention to those kind of synchronicities as they are there. Those are kind of your clues and your little breadcrumbs that the universe leaves to offer you clarity on your unique path. So all right, I'm done rambling. I'm so sorry. Having one of those rambly days. All right, without further ado, Libra, we've got some cards. We will take that card. July 6th through the 12th, meditate and contemplate. This card wanted to make an appearance, so here we are. 6 of Swords. This is your overall present energy, is that you're moving towards the future. We all are, but you are doing it maybe a little bit more intentionally than the rest of us because you're wanting to move forward with new thoughts, new ideas, a new way of messaging, a new way of being, a new way of speaking. So this could be some internal change that you're going through. But you're going to take some time to meditate and contemplate about these things as you make those moves towards the future. Your current situation is the 2 of Pentacles. So maybe you're being prompted to make that move because you're trying to juggle everything. You're trying to we keep all your balls in the air, so to speak. And and you're thinking, is this how I want to live my future? Or am I trying to make decisions that will kind of help me calm this down a little bit? This water of trying to keep that juggle going. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of emotional energy. And we've all been there. We've all bitten off more than we can chew, had too much on our plate at one time, so to speak. And you're just trying to keep it all going. You can only do that for so long before you're exhausted. So what needs to give. And that's when you start kind of making, we're in that waxing gibbous where, like I said, you make evaluations, and you and to be flexible on making changes to things in your life. So look at something, what can you give up, even if it's not permanently, just for a couple of weeks. Is there something that is contributing to this juggling that you're like, look, maybe you love cooking dinner every night for your family, but it's a lot of work. So maybe you're going to, how about, let's take one night and cook a few different meals. So there's some stuff in the freezer so that maybe the next night is not so crazy and hectic, right? So to find those little shortcuts in life that you can do to kind of make life a little bit easier. It doesn't have to be permanent or something that you do all the time, although that could turn into a great habit, but that example in particular. But you want to, I don't want to say the word cut corners, but sometimes life is just too hectic to do everything in such a perfect way. Something's just got to give. Some days the bed doesn't need to get made, right? Um, anyway, see what you can let go to kind of lower that juggle a little bit. At the root of your situation is the star card. So this is the direction that it's going in, but this is a card of like hope and prosperity. This is being optimistic, but it's also, when you are kind of watching the signs and being drawn to certain things, and kind of a knowing, but it's having clarity. So there's something coming through to you that's about this, that's about the direction that you're going. And again, this is why you're kind of thinking new thoughts and things about it. And it may again have to do with this juggling, what direction are you trying to go in long term? You can only keep this up for so long. What is just behind you is the strength card. So you enter into this with, the strength of mind and body to handle anything. Um, you can do it. You can do whatever this is, and you can get through this, and you can formulate again a new way to do things. And if it, like I said, if it's temporary changes to make life a little bit easier for you, that's fine. And maybe take time to meditate and contemplate. I have to remind myself to meditate. I love to meditate, but I also get very busy and very hyper and so I have a little list of things that I like to do that are just good for me every day. And hopefully it's on a little whiteboard. Hopefully I pull that out every day, and I really do try to. Some days I miss, and I try to check off all of these little things, but one of them is to just meditate, just take the time, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes for myself, to just quiet my mind and just really go within and be with myself for a little bit. So, and it's worth it. You may need it if you're having that juggle. And it seems like you don't have that kind of time, but I promise you, you can find it somewhere. What's on your mind this week is, yeah, you're a little bit anxious about all of this. And that's why you need to really think about it. This is why the meditate and contemplate is coming up. You're strong enough to do this. You're strong enough to make the proper changes to make your life not be this stressful. And you shouldn't be anxious when you're going to bed at night. You should definitely, be in a place where you can rest. So if this involves, meditate, and also the contemplation part, don't forget that. Meditation is one thing, but the really contemplating, and if you need to sit down, if this takes 15 minutes to be like, all right, here's the list of to do things in my life, and what can I let go temporarily? What can I delegate? Is there someone else in your life that's doing things that maybe they can add a little bit more to their plate to take a little bit off of yours, temporarily, if it's something, or kind of rework how that works so that you can get out of this stressful mode. What is just ahead of you this week is more thinking about the future. So, Two of Wands is definitely like, this is definitely a calmer energy. It's calmer than this anxiety. Take a breath. Take a breath. It's definitely calmer than this too. Also, I will notice that we have two twos right there. You may need to look up angel number 22. Let's see if another two pops out. It might change that number for you. In your advice position is the Hanged Man. So this is a perspective change, and I believe might have been Virgo that had this card in the same position. So if you're close to a Virgo, if you have a Virgo in your life, or a Virgo that's maybe, kind of involved in your day to day, you may have a spouse or, partner that's a Virgo. They're having a new perspective too. So you may want to go cross watch that reading and see, I believe they did have a couple of these cards that sometimes the tarot is weird like that. When I started reading for the collective, which has been a few months ago now, I started noticing that I can see where people are interacting with each other, where different signs are interacting with other signs. It's the strangest thing when you do 12 readings. And I'd love to find a way to kind of plug all of those readings into something so that I can see all of it in one big giant spread, like which cards came out for who, because I can see the interactions, and it's I can't even really describe it, but it's the interactions that I'm seeing between the 12 signs that I'm pulling for. But anyway, so what I'm seeing now here is definitely some things in common with Virgo, with your sign. So if there's a Virgo in your life, go check out that reading also. Anyway, Hangman, your advice is to go ahead and have this new perspective. And like I said, if it's about changing what you're juggling and just temporarily making changes so that you can sleep better at night, then do that. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Some people get into living life in a particular way that it's dictated by whom? Who is really saying exactly how you need to do things? Nobody. You are, if you've got it in your head. And a lot of times people are, lulled in by just, maybe the way their mother was, or the way their friends do things, or the way, different family people do things, or just what you've learned about society. Take a breather. You don't have to do anything. You need to do things your own personal way, right? And that may be different than someone else, and it's fine. It's fine. All right. Enough of that speech. What is beyond your control is the Five of Swords here. So this is, beyond your control. And I'm going to say again with this card, I feel this card in such a different way than what it's typically taught as winning through underhanded tactics. I see this as sword energy, which to me is air energy. And I see these clouds up here, which is kind of a negative whatever. And it's almost like words are said, and maybe they've come out of your mouth in a negative way when you didn't really mean it, but there's feelings hurt. This person's obviously crying back here in the back of this card. This person's walking away, but it's almost like you've said a couple of things with these swords. You didn't say it all. You didn't say everything you wanted to say and express everything you wanted to say, but you said enough to kind of hurt some feelings. So that's beyond your control this week. And maybe again, if it's the full moon and you're a little bit snippy, that's when you do need to meditate, contemplate, so that you're just not flying off the handle. But there's definitely thoughts and things that you do want to say. So maybe just that's beyond your control, that they need to be said. Maybe find a kinder way to say them, right? So we're not hurting a bunch of feelings. What is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid? Queen of Pentacles, which is definitely a better understanding of this material world and how to juggle everything. Maybe new things that have been added to your plate recently, and you do need to figure that out. And you can, and you will. It takes experience. And, again, if you've added something, maybe you've just added a job. Maybe you've added a second job. Maybe something has changed in your material world somehow. For some of you, maybe you're bringing a baby. You had a baby, and that's changed your world. That definitely rocks your world and can keep you up at night. Maybe you're coming off maternity leave, that sort of thing. I've got a daughter-in-law right now that's going through that, and it's very stressful. I feel for you. It's so hard. It's just so hard, but you do get through it. It's just a learning part of your life. You're strong enough to get through it. But again, do the things that you feel are important in your life, not that you feel like are important because society told you they're important. You do the things that you really feel are important. In your outcome position is the Empress, because when you are creative enough, and this is our card of pregnancy, but when you're creative enough to live the kind of life that you want to live with your list of important things listed out that might not be the same again as someone else's, but it's yours. And the Empress is not only about physical pregnancy, but it's also about giving birth to a way of being that's kind of long term. So when you sit down and contemplate this list again of maybe there's things that you're going to give up temporarily. I'm not going to do this. I'm not These are the things that are important. That's kind of long term thinking, because it's going to get you out of this stress mode and get you where you're like the Empress. Look, she doesn't look stressed about anything. She's just waiting for things to come to her, right? Good things come to those who wait, and to people that are very organized and intentional about the way they live their life. All right, Libra, what's hidden from you this week? The Sun. Why? this is our card of nurturing and light and, just the freedom and joy of just happiness. And why? Why is that hidden from you? Because you're anxious about these things. I just want to smack you on the hand to be like, Libra, quit. You can figure this out. The anxiety, and it's almost like, I don't feel like Libras tend to be very perfectionistic, but I'm kind of getting that, like, you're just trying to do it all. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You'll get through this, I promise. And do the things that are important to you. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck and see what the advice is there as you take a breath. Just take a breath, Libra. You'll be fine. Oh, this card came right out. We will take it. Live life to the fullest. Definitely live life to the fullest, but live your life to the fullest. The things that you want to do, the things that's what your full life is making those decisions and kind of, narrowing down. I know we're told a lot of things that, um, well, and probably on YouTube, I can't exactly say from where this comes, but we learn a lot of things and we're told a lot, like, this is what it takes to make you happy, to make and that's not all true. It's not all true. It is trial and error on your part to really decide how you want to live your life. So I will stop preaching that message, but it is something I really truly believe in. Your life is yours. It is not the life of your friends, of your neighbors, of your relative. You do you. That's probably what I'll call this video, Libra. You do you. Don't worry about what else is going on. So, all right, we are going to pull from the Self-Care Wisdom cards. This is a deck by Cheryl Richardson that I added last week because it got in my path and I fell in love with it. So let's see what this has to say, Libra, for you about self-care, which I think you are really in need of this week. So self-care, Libra, what do we have here? Wisdom cards. Libra, release. Love that. Yeah. I love she's under the stars. That's awesome. Sometimes the best way to grow is to simply let go. I love that too. And like I said, let go. Let go of some things. You can't be all things to all people, and you can't do everything, and you cannot. So let go a little bit. Just let go. It's all going to be fine. You can still live your life to the fullest. Sometimes the best life is the simple life, being as simple as you possibly can. So, Libra, remember to meditate, contemplate. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down in the comment section there. Let me know what it is you're going through. What are you having to let go of? What is making you anxious? Did some of you have a baby recently? Are we trying to plan our life so far into the future that we're just trying to keep all the balls in the air? What are you letting go of? What do you need to let go of? If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below. I do hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. I do readings every week, so come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new here for you. Also, if you like my reading style, again, please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel, but most importantly, Libra, it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much. Good luck with this, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.